Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Yo Me Curo Sola in Spanglish. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your lives to tune in to yet another episode. And for all of you guys that are new here, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you guys have taken a chance on us. Muchas gracias por eso. And I am really excited. So agarren sus palomitas, grab your palomitas because this is gonna be a good one. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna let my amigasa, my beautiful Liliana, um, take us in and steer us in the right direction. So take it away, amiga.
Ya, hoy vamos a hablar de las parejas como espejos. When we find our media naranja, we say that they complete us, that they make us feel love. Y andamos en las nubes, ni quien nos baje. Pero nadie te dice que también vienen a confrontarte y a mostrarte partes de ti que la verdad prefieres ignorar. Porque, let's be honest, esas relaciones que más te mueven, que más te dejan marcadas, que más te duelen, te transforman. Y no llegan nada más porque sí, tienen su propósito. A veces llegan para mostrarte heridas, patrones, creencias que te limitan, pero también tu capacidad de amar, de poner límites y de finalmente elegir. En este episodio no vamos a romantizar el sufrimiento, but we're also not avoiding the uncomfortable stuff. And we all have uncomfortable stuff. Todos tenemos ese rinconcito en el closet de nuestro corazón that we don't want to look at. But today, nosotros vamos a sacar esas cosas que están en ese rinconcito para que vean que todas estamos sufriendo en el amor por no ver ese rincón. Vamos a hablar sin pelos en la lengua de lo que pasa cuando estás despertando y tus relaciones ya no encajan como antes. Y si alguna vez te has preguntado, why do I keep attracting the same type of partner? ¿O por qué esta relación me duele tanto? ¿O qué me está queriendo enseñar esta persona? Then this episode is for you. So before we get started, take a deep breath in. Exhale. Y simplemente observa. If you feel something that triggers you, algo te está moviendo aquí, you don't have to figure out the answer right now. Pay attention, what it feels like, where you feel it, y simplemente observa. So, amiga, let's start out with this. Current marital status right now, yo estoy solterona. ¿Y tú?
I'm married, amiga. I have been married for 30 years.
All right.
I married my high school sweetheart. So yeah, 30 years.
Okay. So, to all of our listeners, you would never know this, but we're going to share this with you. This is the second time we record this episode. And part of the reason for that is because some of these topics that we come up with sometimes are bringing wounds out and making us see things that perhaps we didn't see. So we're not only here to share our stories and our experiences. Sometimes things are happening in real time and you're getting into it. Amiga, you want to share what happened?
So the first time we tried to record this episode was last week, and I thought I was ready. I remember we talked about the topic, and I studied it, and I knew what questions were going to come. It kind of turned out it was a little. We had technical difficulties, a lot of technical difficulties. So it was like right from the start, and y me pasó algo muy interesante porque yo I came into this wanting to do this project con Liliana because I also understand that there's a lot of things in me that I'm currently working on and that I haven't healed, and I wanted to do this thing because I feel like it's important for people to see it like in real time. Like what happened to me was fucking crazy. Like I feel like my nervous system was not cooperating. My nervous system was like on alert. and it was saying like, stop, this is too much. And I'm over here like pushing it, and my heart is saying, yeah, go for it, you're good, you're good. And my brain is like, yeah, we're together. And not making the connection with my nervous system was like really, really interesting for me, because aparte de todo lo que pasó, all the difficulties with the technical part of it, it was like, it was a shock to my nervous system. And it took me on a roller coaster. I shared this with you, amiga, and it triggered some really, really, really interesting parts of me that I thought that I had healed, and then it turned out that I hadn't. And this part actually triggered the parts that had to do with my childhood, with my little Irene, con la Lirena pequeña, and I had to look at it. I had to look at it, and I had to I had to do the work that I needed to do to figure out, what was happening with me. So de esto que estamos hablando cuando hablamos de the triggers are real. Like, when we start identifying the triggers, we can start having a lot more compassion for ourselves, because no más una palabra, sometimes even a smell, something that you see, something that you hear, can just, a word, anything, a phrase, anything, a song can take you back to a place that like you didn't even know that existed anymore. And that's really what happened with me. It was really, really interesting. I mean, I don't even know what else to tell you, amiga, because it turned out to be like the part that needed to happen so that I could go back and do this healing part that I needed to do. And I had to do with my little Irene, with Irene chiquita. So if anything, like, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for that part, because without that, I wouldn't have been able to get triggered and then move forward to healing it.
Sure. Oh, that was happening.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you, amiga, for sharing
Oh, thank
your
you.
experience last week.
Thank you for your support and all this.
Claro. Y let's get started.
Of course.
So you mentioned that you've been married for 30 years.
Yes.
And so in those 30 years, ¿en qué momento te diste cuenta de que tu pareja no era el problema, sino un espejo de algo interno que estaba pasando dentro de ti?
Se me hace que el tiempo que me di cuenta fue el momento cuando tuve la experiencia de la cual he hablado. Like, I've talked about it, quite a bit. When I had the worst bout of depression that nearly ended my life. And I think it was at that moment when I realized that my codependency with another human was like so intense that I lost myself. And it
Before that, had you blamed everything on him? Was it his fault?
I did. It was like one of those things, like, if only you would do what I want you to do, then I would be happy. If only you could like work on the things that I'm pointing out to you, then that would mean that I would be happy. And so like, kind of like switching it around, like, was very common for me. Yo siempre pensaba, well, I'm the one that's doing all the good things. I'm the one that yo todo hago bien. Like, it's got to be you. I'm perfect. Exactly. And it's like, if you want this marriage, if you want us to live a happier life, then you got to do the work, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. And I never stopped to think that I might be the problem. I never did. It was
And what made
interesting.
you get to the point to where you figured out that the problem was being reflected back to you?
It was during that time when I had to be alone, where I was alone for about 6 months, and probably the first 3 months of that, like, felt like I was gonna die. I literally felt like I was gonna die. Se me hace que ahí fue el punto donde me di cuenta que estaba tan como enmeshed with another human, that whatever those humans' emotions were like translated into my emotions. and I couldn't separate them anymore. And it was like, and it was kind of like having to look at it because I had 6 months to look at it. And then when I looked at it, I was all like, it's me. Like it's me. I am doing this to me. Like, why am I doing this to me? What why am I not seeing this when it's in front of me? And it was almost like a light bulb, like a switch went off in my head that I told myself, you're responsible for you. And something told me, you're responsible for you. And I think the moment I told me I'm responsible for you, everything started to change. Because from there on, the work that I needed to do was about me and no longer about him. And that was something that I learned. I learned. After so many years, I learned it. It was
Cuando te
scary.
diste cuenta, how did it feel?
It was scary. It was really, really scary. And I talk about a lot of things being scary, but that was like probably one of the scariest parts because I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that could be happening to me. I didn't know that. Like I thought that all the time in therapy was like, like I was good and I was healed or
So,
you know que como que ya estoy sanada ya me curaron and stuff and then like to have to look at myself like that was like I didn't know what to do honestly. I just didn't know what to do. I just went really quiet and then the voice inside me just started talking. I just had to go quiet. I went quiet
and you started listening,
and
right?
I started listening.
Because I think that's the key part.
I started
Las veces
listening.
escuchamos esa voz, you're like, cállate,
Yeah,
hazte a un
no.
lado. I'm going to put you on mute. I don't want to listen to you. But then when you start listening, ay, chihuahua.
Yes. I started to listen. I started to listen and it scared me in the beginning because I was like it was almost like I told myself like who are you? Who is this other voice? Like telling me something different to the voice that I had been hearing, the kind of voice that told me like, oh no, you're perfect. You could do, you know, like, everything is his fault. Everything, you know, like you don't have to do anything. You just kind of, you know, he needs to fix himself. All those things. Like this voice wasn't telling me that. This voice was telling me like, you need to look at you. Like go in and look at you. And I mean, that was part of the awakening. I had to look
So
at me.
when you started to look at those wounds, which one of those wounds was the most exposed in your relationship? La más obvia.
Oh my gosh. La más obvia. La más obvia was that I married my dad. I married my dad. I married somebody that was so similar to my dad, and it just didn't click until it clicked. That was like, it was like obvious. Honestly, it was obvious. And I kind of did that thing like, oh my gosh, you know, yeah, that happened.
All of our life, we hear you marry your dad or you marry your mom, right? All of our life, we hear that. Pero hasta que estás ahí realmente viéndote y enfrentándote and you embody that realization, it's a whole different ballgame. Because one thing is hearing it in the mind and storing it in the mind, yes, it makes sense, but the other thing is to actually feel it. Y más, creo que cuando te das cuenta que tú elegiste eso. You were in control and you chose it.
I know.
That's, I think, for me personally, was the most like, I chose that shit. What the hell?
I know, right?
Tell me why. So, I know you said that it was your high school sweetheart. Yo, en lo contrario, yo fui toda una noviera and I'm not going to deny it. But I've only had one relationship that lasted for 13 years. Nunca nos casamos. Como decía mi papá, era mi marinovio. We lived together for that period of time. But I had that same similar experience as you of realizing that I had married my dad. Pero no nada más mi papá. I chose this person based on one tiny little experience that I observed between my mom and my dad.
Really?
Y eso es que in the last episode where we talk about our parents as espejos, I talk about
Yes.
that dynamic between my mom and my dad. Y como me encabronaba.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 16 years old, I saw this particular argument between my mom and my dad. And that was like la gota que derramó el vaso al 100%. Y se me quedó grabado. Lo and behold, fast forward, I find my partner. He is 16 years age difference. He's older than me. And you got to remember, at 16 is when I got triggered and I select somebody that's 16 years older than me.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh. I chose someone that was very similar to my dad
Yeah.
in many aspects, but I chose somebody who I could make pay for how my dad treated my mom.
Wow. That's big.
It was.
Wow.
Y darme cuenta de eso, like sit back and to actually start to observe and I understand. I did a lot of journaling. I've always liked writing.
Yeah.
When I started doing journaling, I was like, oh, pues déjame, paso así por toda mi lista, right? De parejas, novios, intereses, whatever. And I started writing things out. And when it came to this relationship and I wrote our story out and I looked at it and figured out the whole 16 years old, 16-year age difference, my dad y todo eso, dije, did I really choose that shit? Did I really choose that shit? So I continued to look through and I continued to dig. One of the wounds that I had from my dad was my dad not following through on things that he would tell me he was going to do. Y eso es que no, yo soy la princesa de la casa. I'm the baby. I'm the only girl. So, todo lo que yo quería se me concedía. But the things that mattered the most to me, he failed to follow through. So, I selected a partner that would repeat that wound over and over and over and over and over. And I went from being the caring, loving, supporting, nurturing woman that my mom had taught me to be to the angry version of my mom and the angry version of my dad. I was doing both things because I wanted to show myself, little Liliana, what my mom should have done to my dad when I was 16 years old.
I can see that.
But at the same time, I had the Don Victor gene that my dad's name was Victor. I had the Don Victor gene come out. And that asshole side of me was also making itself present. So I shifted from my mom's soft, docile person into my full-fledged, angry mode of my dad.
Mm.
Y tú sabes que una mujer encabronada es peor.
Oh my God, yes, girl. It's dangerous.
That loving, nurturing side of me that I lived through my heart, esa cabrona se desapareció. Like, I buried her. And in the process, I buried my partner in anger and all of these other things. So cuando me di cuenta que todo eso estaba pasando, and that's why I chose my partner, dije, chingada madre.
Oh my gosh, that's
Me.
oh.
What am I doing? Here I am questioning the world, not understanding por qué está pasando tanto pedo. And yet I'm contributing to all of that pedo from, the human consciousness level.
Yes.
Aunque no parecen que estoy haciendo nada, I am.
Yeah.
That to me was the moment that made me dig further back into my relationships. Y yo estaba buscando esos mismos patrones en las demás relaciones. And I can tell you that the men that did not look like my dad or from a personality character standpoint weren't like my dad, things didn't work out. I dated men that were on paper great. They were executives. They were high-paying positions. Everything was great, peachy and hunky-dory. But even though I was in my soft girl era, when it came to men, I was in my chingona phase of, yo no necesito un pinche cabrón hombre. Because I'm a single mom. I got this shit. I don't need a man in my life. I was looking for a victim. Somebody to victimize. To make my dad pay. So esos hombres que estaban aquí looking good on paper. No. Didn't make sense. Las parejas that I did last for a month, a year, or so on, I was just trying to fit into the scenario when I was 16 years old and see if they would fit the scenario. And that's why they didn't work out, because they didn't fit the scenario.
Oh.
How fucked up is that?
How interesting is that?
Well, it's interesting, pero las hombres que le dicen es
No.
and I did it.
Pobre
Did it. I did it. That's the worst part, is that I
did it. Yeah.
And so al principio me sentí de la chingada. Like, I am a horrible human being.
Mm-hmm.
¿Cómo chingados es posible de que yo haya elegido a una persona para dañar un pedo que ni siquiera era mío?
Yeah.
So coming to that realization was painful. To me, it wasn't just shocking. It was painful. Porque me di cuenta that I had a very, very dark side.
Mm-hmm.
Yet most people that knew me on a personal level, todo el mundo, ay, ni vienen, que linda eres, que qué buena gente, que mira, y que cómo eres platicona, y que eres bien amable, y eres bien amigable, y eres muy sincera, y esto y lo. People didn't know what I had done, because I didn't want to hear that inside voice that was telling me, mira aquí. And it's like, shit, bitch, no wonder I didn't want to listen to you. You have ugly things to say, and I don't like it. You know?
Oh, yes, I know.
Y eso no es para minimizar las dinámicas between my former partner and I, or any of ex-boyfriends that I had. Para nada. Did they do things that were hurtful to me? Absolutely. Absolutely. But when I looked at the reason why, and then the only finger I can point at was me, that hurt.
That's like really, I think that's really, I just find it really interesting because within my experience, I have learned, and I continue to learn, that todo lo que nos pasa when we're kids affects us for the rest of our lives. And that dictates who we become as women, who we become as men, who we become as humans. And we never, it's not, I'm not gonna say never, that's generalizing, but we rarely stop to look at it. We really don't look at it until something happens that forces us to look at it. Because if we really looked at it before making these decisions, we would see that in order for us to be able to make better decisions for ourselves, we got to heal it. Like, I'm going to repeat something, not on purpose, but I'm going to repeat it just because I don't want to look at it. Mm-hmm. And cuando me pasó eso a mí, I'm just like, well, I have no choice. I have no choice than to work on it and to do the hard part that hurts, the hard part the one that makes me look at me and be like, I'm not the person that everybody thinks that I am. I'm not. I have, like, there's this darkness in me where I could probably really hurt somebody, but nobody's ever going to get to see that. And that's really interesting for me to analyze about me. When you spoke about darkness, and I think the other day you told me about your darkness, and I was just like, and then I told you, well, I'm such a kind, I think that I'm like one of the most kindest person that you'll ever meet. And then I stopped, and then I'm like, but I have a dark side of me too. I know. I just know that about me. And now it's like, it's almost like making peace with it. it's a part of me too. I can't make it. I can't. It's not gonna go away. It's a part of me. But now I have knowledge that it is a part of me, and me like expressing that part of me is me making a decision that I'm gonna do it, and it's a choice now.
Mhm.
Y lo hago with awareness. I'm not no longer like I don't know why I'm like that. I don't know why I'm like that. Now I'm
Estás
like
consciente.
sí, estoy muy consciente de que si lo hago es porque yo lo estoy haciendo porque maybe it needs to happen, maybe I need to defend myself, maybe something, but I'm aware of it. And that's really interesting. That is so
Mhm.
interesting. So yeah, I get where you're coming from, amiga.
So let's talk about in your relationship. Did you ever confuse love with sacrifice? De rescatar a tu pareja o aguantarte porque eres mujer y eres mexicana y a huevo tienes que aguantar todo lo que comes your way.
I think so. And I think that is like the programming from my parents because when I look at the similarities, there's so many. Like mucha de la parte de mi vida que yo, like when I got married and then as I was going through, through life, I noticed so many similarities between my mom and my dad and their relationship. And the way I was basically imitating them, I was imitating, their relationship, the way they processed information, the way they spoke to each other. I was imitating it. And like, yo no me daba cuenta de eso. Like, it was really interesting. Like, no tenía la habilidad de ver eso. I mean, I see it now. I see now how that conditioning, like, damaged the parts of me that I don't know. I'm not gonna call it damage. I think it was just an experience. Like the experience was that I grew up with parents. I just grew up with parents. And my parents were going through issues and they were raising me and I was a very observant child and everything that I did then I learned to do as an adult because I observed them. So it's not bad. It was just what happened. That was just what
Mhm.
happened.
That's the story that got written in your book, is the way that I describe it. Lo que
Yeah.
observas, because we're such new little souls in this world. Lo que observas, you're like tomando nota y escribiendo y diciendo,
Yep.
oh, así,
Así se hace.
all right, got it, okay, okay.
Exactly. That's how you
And then what
express
do you do?
love. Yeah,
That's your manual.
I know.
You're writing your manual.
It is.
Y es lo que no hemos tomado conciencia de eso, es de que lo que estamos haciendo con nuestros hijos, alrededor de nuestros hijos, nuestra familia, nuestros amigos, compañeros de trabajo, at a young age, when you're writing that manual,
Exactly. That's what you're
you're
teaching.
writing the story.
You're writing their story. I know. And that's why, like, se me hace tan importante de traer ese mensaje because I mean, I feel like it took me, so many years of my life. And I just kind of feel like if I would have heard the message earlier, I think something could have changed. But,
Mhm.
it happened the way it was supposed to happen. I just kind of feel like there wasn't enough people around me to say, there was actually nobody around me to say, this part of your life is yours. Like do with it like what you think is best for you. Don't use your mom and your dad as an example because if they were not good examples, then it's not gonna be good for you. And I didn't know that. Like nobody told me that. So
Aparte, it's their story,
it is exactly.
not yours,
No.
right? Y te lo dice aquí, like, the woman that
Sí.
took a piece of their story and made it mine,
I know.
como si yo hubiera tenido vela en el entierro, and I
Sí.
didn't. But that's what we do.
See, we were just mirrors. Like I feel like I was just mirroring what they were, and it wasn't until I was able to discover who I really was that I could break that pattern. It became a pattern. Very similar to the pattern that I ended up, teaching my children. Without me having knowledge of it, I couldn't have changed anything. It takes awareness. It takes for us to question something so that other things can be like triggered and we'll be like, oh, what about this? What about that? Yeah.
You know what's funny is that my mom didn't like a lot of aspects from my partner.
Oh my God, that's funny. That is so funny.
So, when I went back and I was looking at my life, I was like, you don't like them from my partner, but you did what? And you taught me what? And you taught me what?
Oh my gosh. So it
So
just
I found it interesting.
it is, it's very interesting. I mean, it kind of shows us going back to our parents being our mirrors that just because they're older than us doesn't mean that they know. She didn't know. She didn't have any awareness of that. So how could she have known that? She was just reacting, ¿verdad? It
Mm-hmm.
was just she was just basically reacting. And I think
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it happens to a lot of people. I think it happens to a lot of moms when we see that our consequences had an impact on our children now. And it's like we
Absolutely.
can't take it back anymore. And then I think something happens and then we gotta hate somebody. So we're gonna go hate the husband or the novio, right? Because you can't hate the kid.
Yes.
I know, that's so interesting.
¿Y cuántas veces decimos, I'm not my parents? Like, if you look at the dynamics between my parents and my partner at the time and I, if you looked at, our education levels, where we lived, where we drove, everything materially, you'd be like, she's doing nothing like her parents. Nothing. But the core, the bottom line, igualitos. Igualitos. So while they showed me all of these things as a young kid, I was mirroring back those wounds to them. Yo fui el espejo de ellos. Y mi pareja fue mi espejo. So it's all interrelated. And my daughter was watching. Y ahí el gran detalle también. So cuando ya tomaste tu conciencia de todo eso, amiga, how did that change the dynamic in your relationship?
It changed it because it had to change. It changed it because cuando
Did
yo
you
me
notice?
oh yeah. Yeah. He noticed. He noticed. And it's I mean, it's like the part of my life right now that I'm still in progress. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not like I'm not here to say like, "Oh, I'm healed." And I got no, like, oh my gosh, it's me like seeing all these parts about me that I still need to work on. And that is a part of my life that I have to work on because the programming that exists between my husband and I is now become a 30-year programming, de mí y de él también. Entonces, just kind of como me di cuenta que muchas de las personas cuando toman decisiones en sus vidas de either, end a relationship or work on the relationship or whatever, we do it like in such an abrupt way, like, no, fuck it, yo me voy a divorciar, que chingue su madre, ya nunca lo quiero ver, lo odio, whatever.
No van a ver los niños.
Y nunca va a ver a los niños. Exactly. And I'm going to
Correcto.
punish him. And I'm going to punish him for all the punishment that, but I think for me, like really sitting with that has been really important for me because whatever decisions I decide, like they have to come from a different place. Like they can't come from a place of hate because I don't harbor hate in my heart anymore because I realized that I'm not my parents because everything that I do is done in a different way, the way I want to do it. This is about me. Like, this is about my journey. This is about my experience. So I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. And I notice about me that when I try to push myself, shit happens. Like what happened last week.
Like last week.
What happened last y se me hace like kind of cool because I like eventually like I want to show that video. Like I want to show that video because I think it's important also because after I saw the video and I analyzed, what happened to me, I was like, I thought to myself, this is so important because it's visible, because you could see it in my body, because you could see it in the way I was speaking. because everything was pointing to my nervous system saying, stop, like, stop. You're this thing that you're doing is no bueno. Like, stop. And I couldn't see it until I saw it. I didn't see it in me until I saw the video. And I was just like, oh my gosh, poor nervous system, like poor nervous system. I was pushing and pushing and pushing. And so having compassion for me is really, really important. Like, it's really, really important now. It means balance for me. It means sanity. It means, um, it means continuing to evolve and learn about the parts of me that I need to learn about. And I'm gonna do it in the pace that feels safe for me. And if my nervous system tells me it's not safe, then I gotta listen, you know? And I was just like, and I don't care if my tias did it this way, my sister did it this way, my mom does it. I don't care. I'm none of them. Yo no soy ninguna de ellas.
No es
I'm
tu
gonna do
historia.
it.
Es la historia de ellas.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Exactly.
And you're
Entonces,
writing your own story.
yes. Entonces, yo ver eso en mí, it's been like big because yo pienso que cuando uno como mujer toma decisiones, decisiones específicamente en nuestro matrimonio, sabemos que nos van a criticar porque en nuestra cultura, we're normally really criticonas. So if somebody,
Yo sé que estás
I
hablando.
know, right? El chisme. So if you end a relationship, it's like, they're either going to talk good shit about bad shit about you, or they're going to be like, oh yeah, root you on and like girl power, whatever. And I'm just like, why would that be important for me? If I believe that I have grown to a level that I'm no longer affected by other people's judgments, that I stand by that. I stand by that. And I'm like, I don't care what people think about this part of my life. Like, this is my life and I need to do it to the best of my ability because this means safety for me. And this means what's going to happen with the rest of, my life. So whether it's good or bad, it's mine.
So now that you've come into this awareness of yourself, your wounds, and you've healed some and you're working through some,
Yes.
do you think that has changed the direction of your relationship, where it's going?
I think
Or is that TBD?
No, I mean, I could talk about it. I think that I'm discovering like the best way to do it for me. I don't know what it's gonna look like because I'm not there yet. I just know that right now I am in a place where I'm finding out that I'm not my parents, that I am not a product of my parents' decisions, that I have my own mind and I have my own heart and I have my own journey, my very, very own personal, only mine and nobody else's journey. And that's where I'm at. I mean, todo lo demás, I'm just figuring it out and I'm learning how to do this thing with loving compassion. For a person that has been my my compañero for 30 years. Like, however it is, however I decide, whatever road I decide to go on, I have to do it with love because I also need to know that it's important for me to know that I can do that for me because I've never seen it done. I've never seen anybody do it. I've never seen anybody like not be together and like still be friends. Like, for some reason, like, siento como que it's always been como inculcado en us que if you split up, you have to hate each other. And he has to hate you and then you have to hate him. And I don't understand that. I don't understand why.
And prove your worth, prove your value.
Yes.
De vieja chingona, soltera.
Exactly. And I'm like, I want to be able to do something. If my experience is gonna do that, well then I want to do it in the way that I want to do it. It's the way I want to do it. It doesn't have. No quiero que sea que porque my culture does it this way, que porque my family does it this way, because other people tell me. I want to do it the way I want to do it, because that is also like this really important thing about me, about making my own choices. It's mine. And me not having to like de dar cuentas a nadie or feel bad or or like, oh, que me están juzgando. Like, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't give one like a flying fuck about that. It doesn't, I can't let that affect me because it affected me for so many years and it did so many horrible things to me. And I'm not there right now. But I am at the point where I'm just in this self-discovery. I'm in the process of, in the midst of this self-discovery, doing this thing with you and figuring out who I am as a human and where I'm supposed to go from here. That's where I'm at, you know? So, yeah. Did I answer your question?
And you're creating your path and you're discovering your
Yeah.
path is what you're saying.
Yes, I am.
And building it one brick at a time.
Yeah. And that
That's
feels
what's
and that feels safe
truly
for me.
happening.
Yeah, and that feels safe for me and that feels true for me and that feels um that just feels like something that I'm supposed to do versus like feeling all these feelings of anger and frustration and yeah, all those things because I'm doing something that I don't really want to do. I'm going against myself. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. You know? Fuck
Mhm.
no. That's tiring.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, el detalle es, this is your story and that's what's best for you.
Mhm.
And that's perfect.
Mm.
Conmigo, I went through the rage process before I started to awaken, right? Like
Mhm.
Jenny Rivera estaba toque cada rato y estaba gritando pecho abierto. Had some good old times, letting all that energy out.
I remember Jenny. I remember my Jenny era.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And anybody knows?
Yeah.
¿Es eso de Jenny?
They know.
Ustedes saben. But then as I worked through and started to see myself and my wounds and started to work through those wounds and detect my patterns and everything, I had to find compassion for myself and give myself grace. And that's something that I was not taught to do. So I had to learn it on my own. That took time. And when I gave myself that compassion and that grace, I found myself going back to that 15-year-old kid. And I've talked about this before in other podcasts, that 15-year-old version of me was so much wiser than this chingona corporate Mexican-American woman that had everything perfectly laid out in her life. She was so much wiser. And when I went back to that version of myself, compassion and grace was very easy for me. But I had to fight my ego, my mind, from the narrative that was there, from my nervous system, because my nervous system said, ¿Cómo que you're going to give yourself compassion and grace? That's weakness. You are not weak. Tanto chingazo que te has dado, and now you're going to have compassion and grace. Cálmate. Bullshit. But when I worked through that, and I was able to get to that level where compassion and grace was welcome into my nervous system and start to go back to who I truly am at the soul level, it was easy to have compassion and grace, not only for my partner, but for everybody else. And so when I ended the relationship and I had a conversation with my partner at that point in time, I did it with a lot of compassion and grace for both of us. Porque ya para ese momento, yo ya no quería lastimarlo. I recognized how I had hurt him. And I recognized how his wounded self hurt me. And I was able to see his wounds that he still carried and was not aware of, and how he would project those onto me. Y me hizo tener mucha compasión por él. Because at the soul level, he has such a wonderful heart. And that was, part of my gift, but my demise at the same time when I was unaware of it, is being able to see a person's soul over middle. I didn't see his wounds. I saw the soul. And everybody else I ever met, I saw the soul and not the wounds. Hoy en día, I see the soul, I see the wounds, and I have a lot of compassion and grace. And that's why I'm able to, a lot of the time, establish relationships with people that I have met for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden I know their lifetime story, and
Yeah.
crying together in the middle of the aisle of the store,
I know. That's so cool.
Este,
Mhm.
but that compassion and grace is what has made us be able to um, end our relationship and still be in a good place today to where we get along. It's been ya casi 4 años, and we still get along really well. Y no tiene nada que ver con que, ay, yo no dejaría que mi expareja estuviera parte de mi vida. Those wounds for me are cleared. Y este es un detalle importante that I want to make sure that all of our listeners are aware of. Both people do not have to be healed in order to get along. If one of you is healing and you're aware of all of these things, of all these wounds, you're aware your partner's wounds, and you've come to the point to where you're compassionate and you have grace for yourself and for others, you'll be able to establish a very clear boundary. And you'll know exactly how to communicate that boundary to your former partner and enforce it. Porque ese es otro detalle. You have to enforce it. And my former partner, when I had the conversation with him about ending the relationship, he always told me, no, yo no soy amigo de mis exes. Termina la relación, mi ex. Okay, that's fine. But I'm telling you what I'm willing to do. I am willing to still maintain amicable relationship with you because we do have a family. Like, you came into our life and my daughter was 12, 13 years old. And she has been a part of your life since then. And now she's had 2 babies. And those babies have turned into your grandchildren. And you're their favoriteest person in the world. I am not going to destroy that. And I am not going to take them away from you because that's still a relationship. I am going to support your relationship so that y'all have a healthy relationship. Como mamá, como abuela, I'm going to support that. I'm not going to use them against you in any vulnerability. I'm still going to keep you informed, still going to keep you involved. You choose when and where you want to be a part of their story. I am just here being supportive of you and them. Yeah. Y si quieres ser mi amigo, bien. Quieres saludarme cuando me veas en la calle, bien. Y si no, that's cool. I understand. I understand. I'm not going to take offense to it. Pasó el tiempo because we actually stayed living in the household together for about a year. And again, this compassion and graceful side of me, all right, gonna give you a year to get your finances in place, get everything situated so that you can be successful and live on your own. I didn't have to do it. And I didn't do it from a point of, yo soy más chingona que tú, sigue su madre, te voy a mandar a la calle. No, that wound was already healed and out. I did it because I believe that if I can help anybody without making myself fall apart, I will help. Sea lo que sea. And he's a human being. Y lo más importante, yo al estar despertando, me di cuenta que este cuerpo hermoso que tengo lleva un espíritu dentro. Y también cada persona que está en mi alrededor lleva un espíritu dentro. Y que ese espíritu lo creó Dios. He literally took a portion of him and created this energy that we call spirit, nuestro soul, to make us be a part of this physical world. So si yo creo en Dios, if I know that God is unconditional love, and I embody that, then I'm going to recognize that everyone, even my ex-partner, los 20,000 ex-novios que tengo, are also a part of God. Y si amo a Dios sobre todas las cosas, I'm going to show love to myself because God's here. This is the first one I need to protect and love unconditionally. but I'm also going to love thy neighbor, even if it is my ex. Siempre y cuando, again, my boundaries are respected. So I believe that because I had that clarity up front, I enforced my boundaries, communicated my boundaries, we've been able to maintain an amicable relationship to this day. Like, if I need something, I know that I can count on him to help me. If he needs something and it's within my abilities, I will go help him. Y no como mi expareja, sino como un ser humano. You know, the other day I was at the grocery store vi una señora que estaba en su little cart ya grande, reaching for some onions, and I'm like, ma'am, would you like a bag? And she said, absolutely. So I went to go get her some bags because they were not anywhere close or accessible to her. So fui, le agarré unas bolsas y se las abrí, se las entregué. She was so thankful. And she called me a princess. She's like, you're such a princess. Thank you for recognizing me.
Yeah.
But the fact is that having that grace and that compassion and that love for someone, it doesn't matter if you know them, if they're your partner, ex-partner, your tia, your cousin chismosa, we can all have compassion and grace for each other.
Yes.
That's how I was able to end the relationship and still be in a good place today to where we can interact together as a family. And I told him when we ended the relationship, you will always be a part of my story. You are a chapter in it, but you will always be a part of my family. Because love is what makes us be a family. So I know it's not the story, the happy ending for everybody, but I think it's something we can work on as humanity. And I think it's something that all of us can do if we choose to do. So that's my soapbox for it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, you explained it beautifully, and I think that that I think we have been living off of these like patterns that have to do with, when you end relationships, you got to do it this way, and you can't be nice, and you can't be kind, and y yo pienso que eso sí tiene que ver with our culture, porque sí eso que dijo tu your ex, I'm not friends with my exes. I hear that from a lot of men and women too. We're like, oh no, fuck you, like I'm not married to you because I hate you.
Fuego, cenizas, queda,
Sí.
right?
And I think it's just really interesting because like the way I look at it is like, I mean, if you share, even if you share, a year, 6 months with another human, you shared time of your life with that human. And I'm just like, how do we go from sharing time and being in love to just hating? I mean, there's songs about it, there people make songs about it.
Exactly. We could go on and on.
Yes. But in reality, I think it has to do with more than that. And I think it has to do with like you explained it, like just kind of seeing them as just being human also. Like they're wounded too. They're, if you've been married to, as long as I've been married to my husband, I know that he's wounded. Like there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of damage that has gone in his life that he's never looked at. So is he going to look at at things the way I look at them? Absolutely not. We're not in the same place. We're very far apart, but do I have to hate him for that? I don't feel like I want to, nor I think it's beneficial for either of us. Like if I can help him through this part of life, through this process, to help him get to wherever he needs to get, then I will. Not sacrificing me. Sin sacrificarme, because eso es lo que estoy aprendiendo. Que eso no requiere que yo me tenga que sacrificar. Y si siento que me estoy sacrificando, I'm not doing it right. And this is also
boundaries.
Exactly, the boundaries. This is also part of my learning process. I didn't grow up with boundaries, nor did I ever hear about boundaries. Boundaries were white. Like white people talk about boundaries. And I'm like, well, I'm not white, but I understand boundaries. Like I understand them. Like when my kids put boundaries on me, I was just like hurt, but I was like, it's, that's what you're doing. It's your choice. And so, yes, I think en esa parte, y esto va a depender de cada persona. Every person's relationship is different. Sometimes you just have to get out of those relationships because maybe it's like it's dangerous. It's getting to a point where it's gonna start like it's maybe detrimental to your life, and then you have to make those choices. But if you're in a relationship where it's just you just can't get along and it's conflict and you can't see eye to eye, then I think it takes one person, like you explained it, just to understand it. Because if one of you can do it, then it changes the game. It changes things. So, I mean, that's been my experience.
Y la otra cosa es de que, for me, coming to the decision of ending the relationship, it was because I learned what I needed to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I understood that he still needed to learn more. Pero no conmigo.
Mm-hmm.
Not those same experiences. Now he gets to learn what it's like to receive compassion,
Mm-hmm.
to receive grace, to receive unconditional love for me as a human. That's what I'm teaching himself and myself, and now our little family through this experience.
Yeah.
La narrativa cambió, la lección cambió, but it changed because I changed myself.
Exactly.
So,
so hence, yo me curo sola, yo me curo sola. This is all about us.
It's all you.
It's all about us.
I'm at the end of that particular chapter, right? And I'm in a new chapter of soltería, and I've been single since then. And it's simply because I've understood what boundaries I need to have in my life. I have much greater clarity on what I want in a relationship. And there's things that I still have to continue to learn now, which one of them is to receive. Any of my brothers can tell you that. My friend will tell you, like, esta mujer, I have to ask my 9 million times before she says yes. But
yeah,
there are things that I'm still working on. But those are things that I am aware of. I continue learning and growing. And I've learned what things are non-negotiable for me. And one of those things is peace.
Yeah.
Y la gente me pregunta, it's like, oye, pues, ¿cuándo te vas a casar? ¿Vas a tener un novio? ¿Cómo les va a estar sola? ¿Que no te aburres? And it's like, hell no, I'm dating by myself. And I'm so peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at peace with myself. And I am no longer willing to negotiate that. That is not something I'm willing to ever give away. My peace.
Yes.
Not willing to ever give myself away for anybody else. O de sacrificarme, o de aguantarme, o silenciarme. Like, if I am this chatty, talkative person que está bailando en mitad of an aisle and talking to a stranger and crying to some other stranger, 2 minutes later, whoever comes into my life needs to want to have somebody like me in their life.
Yeah.
And embrace it and be like, ay, por fin encontré una mujer that she is the way she is. Y chilla y grita y baila en la tienda, and I love it.
Yes.
Because she is who she is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
of
not
course.
in a hurry anymore. Porque en mí tengo todo.
Yeah.
Adding a partner is just wanting to create a new experience with someone else. We'll get there one of these days, pero por ahorita, a disfrutarlo.
Oh, yeah, I'm so happy for you, amiga.
All right, amiga, pues ya hemos llegado a un punto to where I'm going to give our listeners a couple of questions to reflect on. Y como siempre, I'm going to ask everyone to simply observe, listen to the question, and feel it. No tienes que contestarla ahorita, no tienes que tener respuesta. Just see what comes up to your mind, to your heart, and your body. Y observa. So everybody take a deep breath in. And exhale it out. ¿Qué me está mostrando esta persona sobre mí que no quiero ver? Am I choosing this relationship because it truly nourishes me or because it feels familiar and safe? What part of me abandons itself when I'm trying to make this relationship work? Y espejito, espejito, que estoy cayendo. Y para cerrar este episodio, I'm going to remind everyone, las parejas no llegan a completarnos. No son nuestra media naranja, ni vienen a sanarnos. Vienen a activar algo en nosotros, a confrontarnos, to shed light on those things that we don't want to see. And yes, it does hurt. And chingos, but it's chingos. But it's because you need to see it. You need to feel it. Y no todas las relaciones están para quedarse. Y está bien. It's okay. It's okay if a relationship comes to an end. It's okay if you find yourself that this relationship is for the rest of your life. Algunas personas vienen a sostenernos en este proceso. Otras nos sacuden como un costal de papas. Y otras te parten la madre lo suficiente para que ya no puedas seguir presionándote a ti misma.
Yeah.
So no te juzgues, no te castigues. Have compassion for yourself and give yourself grace. You deserve it. And you have it within you to give yourself that compassion and grace. Lo más importante, hazlo por ti. Remember that you are your biggest project. Tú eres la que tiene el poder, la que sostiene la solución y la que decide tomar acción. Hazlo por ti, porque mereces verte, sentirte y vivir tu vida. This is your story. You're the author. You're the one that decides. ¿Qué esperas? Amiga?
Thank you so much, amiga. That was amazing. What an amazing reflection. Las reflexiones, guys. I mean, para eso es lo que estamos haciendo esto, and it's to shed light en esas partes de la vida y para también ver, nosotros, yo y Liliana estamos haciendo esto también porque aquí se están dando cuenta ustedes que nosotros estamos en diferentes partes de nuestro journey. We're both at different parts, but you know, that thing about having compassion for ourselves and loving ourselves is something that we share and something that I'm learning from you, amiga. And y se me hace que eso es el punto de poder expresar y poder, poder decirle a todos los que nos están escuchando que it's okay, like it's okay en cualquier parte del proceso que estés, it's okay. Like, it's your choice. If you want to stay there for a little while longer, it's okay. If you're ready to move, like, it's okay. It's about you. Entonces, being kind to ourselves and learning that about ourselves becomes really important. I've learned that. I'm learning that right now. So for anybody that's going through that part of it, I'm there with you guys. I'm going through it too. And so as we continue to do this, you will also see my evolution. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen with me too, because I am also working on that. So I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to be able to do this, for the opportunity to collaborate with you, amiga, for all your wisdom, for all the beautiful, mensajes que nos das. And I think that if we do this thing together, like, se siente menos pesado. And you guys are going to notice that. Like, we understand you. We understand you. We're not judging you. Don't judge yourself. Just don't judge yourself. Go.
Más que nada, no son las únicas.
No, of course
no
not.
son las únicas.
No. And so compassion, amor y compasión y querernos y apapacharnos y decirnos, like, it's okay. Like, fíjate, tu paso viene siendo muy importante. So important. So,
Amiga, when you said you were excited, I thought you were going to say, I'm excited to see si esta mujer se queda soltera.
whatever it is, amiga, it's going to be amazing. Whatever you decide to do.
It is
I
amazing.
know it's going to be amazing. It's amazing. So with that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye, and I'm gonna say thank you so much for taking time out of your lives to to sit through the entire episode. Lo compartimos compartimos nuestra información con mucho amor, lo compartimos con mucho cariño y esperamos que reciban el mensaje en la misma manera. Keep coming back. We have a lot of conversations that, that are still like, están por venir. Entonces, keep coming back. Ask us, comment. Si tienen una pregunta, comment it. We'll get back to you.
Something you want us to talk about, to know about us.
Exactly. Whatever it is you want. If you're curious, if si tienen una curiosidad about us, we're two ladies, like we're two Mexican American ladies that just kind of had an idea, and this is what we're doing. So, if we could do it, you guys can do it too. Anybody can do it.
Amiga.
Entonces, yes, amiga.
¿Qué aprendiste hoy?
Amiga, ahora aprendí que no sé ni madres. No sé ni madres. And I'm so grateful. Que siempre que hacemos esto, I always learn something new. And today I also learned something new. And I'm so grateful. So, entonces con eso, guys, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share this message, share this podcast. Help us distribute this amazing message of compassion and love and kindness, towards ourselves and towards humanity. Acuérdense que el mundo está ahorita en un momento donde necesitamos mucho amor, mucha compasión. Make sure that, you think before the words come out of your mouth. And if they're going to be ugly, then know why they're ugly, and look at it and observe it.